Good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and you are breathing. Today is Thursday, January the 26th, 2023. My name is Stephen Carnegie, and welcome to This Is Just a Thought. Today's word of the day: doldrums, which means a state or period of sadness or depression. Doldrums. I hope everyone is enjoying their Thursday. End of the work week is almost here. We made it for some. I got to work this weekend. I just do. But I will have Sunday off. Right in time for those divisional finals of the NFL. Can't wait, can't wait, can't wait. Well, weather here in North Carolina, man, the rain is gone. We got a drenching last night. I think it started Tuesday night, all day yesterday, finally ended sometime late last night, and now the sun is out and it's shining bright. So the rain is gone for now, anyway. Expected to be some more coming in Sunday night or Monday. Man, like I said, this is the South. This is our winter in the South, I guess. No snow, just seasonably mild temperatures in the 50s and rain. Well, in comparison to most places in this country, I'll take it. I'll take it. The rain yesterday, they were saying we quite possibly could have some severe thunderstorms. Didn't pan out that way. It was just rain. Certain places got some good sized rain and wind, but man, thankfully, no severe thunderstorms or tornadoes, unlike other places in the South. Man, pray for those down south around Georgia and Alabama. They got it. They got the severe thunderstorms and even the tornadoes. A lot of destruction. So just pray for those folks down there. Just do. Man, I did have a chance last night when I got off yesterday evening. I did catch a little bit of that Memphis Grizzlies and Golden State Warriors game. That was a pretty good game. Golden State pulled it off, 122 to 120, but they just didn't look like the Golden State that I was expecting to see. They had a lot of turnovers. Why, what in the world? Guys can't turn that ball over and expect to go for. Thus far, unless you guys get together, I don't see you guys going to that finals. I just don't. Like I said, it was a good game. Morant and company, of course, hey, they did what they did, but they couldn't pull it off. Golden State and that experience finally pulled it off in the end, even though it was by 2 points. But man, yeah, those turnovers, man, Golden State was turning the ball over left and right. Why, what in the world is going on with them? Man, I know Steph Curry was out for a while, and now he's back. Maybe he's trying to get things back together in sync, because a lot of those turnovers, they were all bunched together. They weren't spreading the floor. So, hey, when they go to make a move and they throw the ball, it was picked off. Just was. Man, and then some NFL news also, man. The trade rumors are starting for Aaron Rodgers. They're quite possibly what they're saying per sources is he could end up with the New York Jets or the Indianapolis Colts. Okay. I mean, hey, looks like the Packers are. Looks like the Packers are trying to get rid of him. I mean, the interview he gave a few days or a week or so ago, where he spoke about when in a certain situation, certain place, he can see himself winning the MVP. And however many yards rushing or whatever, what have you. You're not even thinking about a Super Bowl? You've given up hope? You just want to travel around the NFL for the remaining however many years you have left as a journeyman, I guess, and get paid. Looks like maybe, well, I mean, you got enough from Green Bay. How much more damn money do you need? Yeah, he said, hey, in a certain, the right scenario, under the right system, he could see himself winning MVP of the NFL again. No Super Bowl. I don't know. Hey, maybe he realizes that it ain't going to happen. Maybe he has accepted it, I guess. Who cares? It's Aaron Rodgers. Who cares? All right, moving along here, man. moving along. Man, the mass shootings. Wow. California. Wow. Um, like most of you, man, I guess I woke up, what was it, Saturday or Sunday this past weekend, and I heard of the mass shooting at that dance hall in California, where I believe finally, I shouldn't say finally, at first 10 had died, and then it went up to 11 because a person that was in the hospital passed on also. The gunman ended up killing himself after while he was doing the shooting. Beforehand, a citizen, a regular citizen, was able to snatch the gun away from him. If you've seen that video footage, man, what goes on in folks' mind? And then there was another incident in California yet again, a day or so later. This one was two at mushroom farms. Apparently, a worker. I think that one may be work related. He worked apparently in between those two farms, and somehow, some way, they still haven't came out and said. I guess he was upset about something because he ended up injuring and killing a few folks. I believe that one was 3 or 4. I'm not sure the exact number. But man, like I always say about this gun violence, fools and guns. Fools and guns. Because both of these guys, they weren't young. The gentleman that did the shooting at that dance hall, I believe he was 60 or 70 something. I don't know how old this other guy was that did the shooting at the mushroom farms, but he was up in age. I mean, they weren't young. Who pissed you off, man? Of course, at first they were trying to, come to a conclusion because both of these incidents, they affected the Asian community. The dance hall shooting, that was the Asian community. They were celebrating the Lunar New Year, I believe. Those mushroom farms, the gunman was Asian, and I believe those victims, or some of those victims, may have been Asian also. So it went back. The media got a hold of it, and they were saying, it was at first it was an attack on the Asian community again. Maybe not. Looks like it's not. Because like I said, I don't want to sound like I'm casting judgment or dispersion, but the shooters were Asians. I honestly think that second one at that mushroom farm, I think that was work related because they said he worked at both of those farms. Just did, man. Pray for those victims and their families. Man, folks were out just trying to have a good time. Folks were out just working, and along comes these two fools with guns. Somehow, some way, got in their mind that they were going to kill. Once again, like I always say, fools and guns. I don't know what goes through folks' minds in this day and age where they have a disagreement or they're upset, and the first thing that comes to their mind is to go and kill folks. What in the world? Why? We may never know. Well, it's not that we may never know. We may fully never understand what goes through folks' minds and makes them do the things that they do. Just may not, man. Certainly hate to hear that. And then there was another case at a school somewhere out in the Midwest or whatever, or North Midwest, where some kid got upset, that was gang related, and ended up shooting inside of a school, killing 2. Once again, what goes through folks' minds to make them say, hey, the only way I can solve this conflict or disagreement or misunderstanding is to kill somebody? We all get upset. That's just one of those human characteristics that we have in us. There's no way around it. I don't know too many folks that are happy and pleasant and pleasing all the time. I'm certainly not. But man, I never thought of killing somebody. Might want to beat the brakes off of them. But kill it? Nah, that's a no-no for me. And I'm sure it's I'm quite sure it's a no-no for many of you also. Some fools, that's their go-to, I guess. I don't know. Certainly isn't my bag. All right, let's move along here also, man. Let's talk about it. George Santos is in the news again. Why, what do you know? Oh, George Santos, the congressman, the newly elected congressman from New York, Long Island to be specific, the one that has got caught up in multiple multiple lies. I mean, the lies continue for this guy. It keeps getting caught in it. Now, if you're saying to yourself, well, why isn't he being kicked out? Apparently, they can't kick him out for lying. I mean, if that was the case, there we wouldn't have a house or Senate. That's just what politicians do. And apparently, they've said, hey, we can't kick him out for lying, but we are investigating and looking into those campaign finances. Because, like I told you, him and his significant other, they had an apartment in Long Island for however many $1,000s a month, and he wrote it off when he turned in his paperwork at the end of his campaign. He said, hey, that was for the staffers, and it's come to light that it wasn't for the staffers. But that's not what he's been caught up in now. I just got to say, when I first heard it, I thought, oh boy, this guy, he has to go. He's just bad for business. For anyone, whether Democrat or Republican, because what's happening now, along with the media and Democrats and Republicans and some in society, they're saying, look what the Republican did, look what the Republican is doing. Republican or Democrat, young or old, white or black, whatever whoever you are, whatever your political affiliation, a liar's a liar. I don't see politics in this. Because what he has been accused of, they're saying accused, but the evidence is showing that yeah, he did it. He just did. He's been accused of swindling or conning a disabled veteran out of, I believe it was $3,000. Apparently, this disabled veteran had what is called a service dog. He had PTSD. Of course, he was returning from a war. So his dog was sick. The dog had gotten sick with a cancer, had cancer and had a tumor that needed to be removed. And of course, this disabled vet, he didn't have the funds. So he was referred to this animal group that George Santos supposedly ran, that we know he didn't, and we know it never existed. How we know it never existed is because he swindled this guy out of $3,000 after he started a GoFundMe and raised $3,000 for this dog's operation, and then he skedaddled with the funds. And if you're saying to yourself, well, his name, this is where he has to go. There's no way around it. Whether he's Republican or Democrat, he has to go because he was using an alias. He didn't use his real name, George Santos. He used Anthony DeVolder. That was his name. Anthony DeVolder. So apparently Anthony DeVolder, aka George Santos, got the $3,000 from this GoFundMe account and skedaddled after he had taken the guy's banking information also, so he had access to that. What is he, a scammer? Isn't it what scammers do? They get access to your banking information. You got to go. Boy, you got to go. I don't know what the hold up is for those folks up there in New York and Long Island, but you guys need to get together. There's no saving face if you're a Republican up there. If you're hearing these stories of this guy, he lied about his mother being in 9/11 when she was actually still in Brazil because she filed a green card application in 2003 to come to the United States. And somehow, some way, they traced it back, and she said she hadn't. Apparently, she had visited and left and went back, or she had a work visa of some sort, but she left in '99, and then reapplied in 2003. So that was a lie, because he said his mother was in the South Tower of 9/11. That's sick, and she later succumbed to cancer because of the asbestos and the whatever, what have you, that she experienced being in that South Tower. She was never in the United States. She was still in Brazil. So that was a lie. Lied about his religion. Said he was Jewish when he was actually Catholic. Lied about his business dealings. Aside from this little non-profit animal rescue program that he ran. He said that he had worked for some of the top investment firms, Sachs and others. He had went to this high prestigious college and received a degree and a doctoral degree. But yet they came out, both of them, and said, all of them came out and said, hey, we don't have any record of this guy whatsoever. He never went here. He never worked here. So he lied about that also. You gotta go. You're bad for business. You just are. I mean, come on, man. How many more lies? There's a lot. There's going to be some more lies that are going to come to the light also. But for him to take that money from that vet, that disabled vet, that I think he had PTSD, which many vets returning from war, that's what they have. So he got him a service dog, some animal, the little veterans program that gives these vets those service dogs to help them go through day-to-day dealings in life, their companion, their friend. When things are doom and gloom and they're going through it, that dog is right there, dog or cat or whatever, what have you. I believe they even have some for cats. They're right there by their side. They're a constant. And it's much needed for these vets. So when he found out that his dog had cancer, had that tumor, and he couldn't provide the necessary medical attention or couldn't afford the medical needs that the dog needed, the surgery, he turned to what he thought, he was referred to it, what he thought was a legitimate business where they cared not only about vets, but more specifically cared about these service animals. And this fool was just running another hustle or con. You gotta go. I'm serious. You got to go. No one could convince me otherwise. And like I said, they're saying we can't kick him out. I'm sorry, we can't kick him out for lying, but we can kick him out if it's discovered that he violated campaign finance laws with the funds. Guys need to get on the stick. Get on the stick and find out or prove what he has done with those campaign funds, or what he did with those campaign funds, and send him on his way. Like I said, there's no one that can convince me otherwise. There's no gray area. There's no go-to. There's no what if, or well, we need to let this just, it's just an unfortunate incident where he misused some funds or whatever, or he might have stretched the truth a little bit. You lied, you lied, you lied. You stole, you stole, you stole. A thief is a thief. A liar is a liar. A murderer is a murderer. I mean, what else can I say? All the evidence is pointing to it. It just is. Like I said, there's no gray area. There's no in between. There's no misunderstanding. We now know what you did and what you've been doing and how you lied and falsified documents also to get into office. And you're still defiant. So much so, he's even been appointed to two committees while he's in the House. So it looks like it's going to be business as usual till someone gets on the stick and starts that petition, or either finds out what he did with those campaign funds, or maybe they're just going to wait until the next election cycle and then hopes he gets voted out. Maybe by then he'll come up with some grand story, and the folks of Long Island will have some empathy for him and reelect him. Hope not. Hope you guys are better than that to allow this fool to get reelected and back in there. I'm sorry, he's not a fool, he's a thief. He's a con man. Many say that's what politicians are. Yeah, they are. I mean, I ain't gonna dispute that. But this guy ain't a politician. He should have never been anywhere near the House of Representatives. He's a con man. He's a hustler. Just is. I mean, how much more evidence do you guys need to find out and discover for you to lie like that with that veteran and that service animal? Man, that's just way too much for me. That took the cake for me. It just did. That right there, when I heard that story a week or so ago, I was like, well, wait a minute. That's low down. It just is. That's low down. It's like those old stories we hear, or we still hear them sometimes. These little con men or hustlers, they swindle money from old women and old men like these fools that are running around to call these folks and tell them, hey, send money here or send gift cards here, or even those fools or low down dirty, you know what, that steal from a blind person or con and manipulate blind people. This is the same thing. I don't care. Well, I can't say I don't care about your education because apparently you didn't have it. Apparently you lied about that. I can't say I don't care about your work history and all the high-ranking investment firms there and well-known investment firms you work for because you lied about that. I can't say anything about your religion because you lied about that. I can't say I don't care about your mother because you lied about that. Why, what in the world? What is it going to take? This guy got to go. You got to go. You just do. You just do. Whoever was behind that petition, that former GOP head up there in New York that said he needed 100 or whatever, however many, 140 some odd thousand signatures to get rid of him, get on the stick. Get on the stick quick. You know, old George Santos came out and said the only way he'll step down if 142,000 citizens of Long Island or that area around New York sign a petition and get them out. Well, 142,000 of you need to get together and find out where their damn petition is and sign it quick. Get rid of them. Then I think he needs to be locked up from stealing from that vet, if nothing else. Well, nothing else is really criminal. The rest of it was just lies. But that, with that alias, boy, you're a big time thief. You had an alias, but you're still sitting in the House of Representatives. Somebody needs to get on the stick and get rid of this guy and get rid of him quick. He's got to go. He just does. He has to go. Has to go. Just does. This does. All right, let's go get it. Well. Here we go, back down memory lane, back around that mulberry bush again. Looks like former Vice President Mike Pence finds himself in the hot seat. Well, what do you know? They discovered some classified documents at his Indiana home. Also found before they discovered this, they found some more documents at President Biden's, I believe it was in his Delaware home again. It was either his home or that Biden Penn Center in D.C. I believe it was in his home. They found some more documents there also. And then they found Mike Pence. Apparently his lawyers or staffers were going through his home in Indiana, and they found some classified documents also. You know, Mike Pence came out with Biden, and then even with Trump, and he said, hey, these classified documents, they just don't need to be left any and everywhere. There needs to be some accountability. Well, it looks like there's going to be some accountability with you. Maybe it needs to be. Because, like I've said before, now everyone is, they're doing that finger pointing. Democrat, Republican, look at them, Democrat, Republican. Everyone's going, this little Democrat and Republican thing. Media's chiming in and they're hyping it up and roaring it on. Oh, look at them, the turbo Republicans. Now we have a Republican that has some classified documents in his home. Of course, we know about Donald Trump, and Donald Trump just took them. He just took the documents. So they say. So didn't the other two, President Biden and former Vice President Mike Pence, didn't they take them too? But the question for me is, when these documents are given to these high elected officials, there's no chain of custody. There's no statement of saying, hey, where are you going to keep these documents? When you're done with them, you got to return them, or you got to tell us where you're going to keep them after you leave office. It looks like there isn't. Because, like I said, Biden and now Pence, Looks like they just have these documents and they just forget about them. And so I mean, are these documents, are they locked up, in a safe, secure place? And it appears, I gotta say, the same question I asked earlier. There's no chain of custody. There's no one saying to them, "Hey, where are the documents?" After a certain time. I mean, I understand that's a common practice. I mean, they're highly elected officials, so they have security clearances. Yeah, they can look at these documents. They can have them, hold them, whatever, what have you. But when they leave office, don't you think you need to get them back? Or don't you think you need to give them back? Because, like I said before, now President Biden said those documents that were found in his home and in the Biden Penn Center, that was a result of sloppy staffers. So you're placing the blame on the staffers? And Mike Pence, he came out and said it's highly regrettable, unfortunate. I don't know what happened. I just forgot. I guess he said saying I just forgot about him. I sure are forgetting about a lot of classified stuff that's just laying around for anyone to come by, and could quite possibly not only lay hands on them, but lay their eyes on them. This is a bit too much. This is becoming a problem. Like I said, I understand it's a common practice because they're highly elected officials with the security clearances. They have access to the classified documents. I get it, got it, understand it. But when you're gone from office, I would think you would have to return those documents. Or if you're going on to another level of being an elected official in the executive branch, I would think there would be some accountability to say, hey, you still got those documents? Where are they secured at? That's the thing for me. Not the Democrat, not the Republican. I care less about that. Like I always tell you, politics is politics. I don't sing and dance and shuffle my feet for any political party, because they're all politicians. They're going to do what they want to when they get in there anyway. That's sad to say, but that's a reality of it, isn't it? So now it appears the media and some here out in society are saying, look at the Democrat. And now they got to say, look at the Republican. This should open all of your eyes to a problem that we have in this country with our classified documents and how they are handled by these elected officials, those we elect and entrust to handle our nation's security. This is a security problem. It just is. Who knows what were in those classified documents? I mean, they're classified for a reason, so that means they're not for everyone's eyes. They're only for those that have those security clearances and those highly elected positions. I think we're going to hear a lot of more tales of this. There seems to be a common practice, like I said, where folks get these documents and they forget all about them as they move on to the next security and the next security and the next classified document, and then it's somehow, some way forgotten about and left. Yeah, I gotta say it. There needs to be some changes made with these classified documents as it relates to how they are delivered and how they should be returned. I think once you leave office, or you leave that certain office and are going to the next level or next branch, I think you need to return those classified documents. You probably are supposed to, but just like with bureaucracy and all that red tape, you get a pass or an understanding. Why do you need to hold on to those classified documents after you leave office? Or why do you need to hold those classified documents, period? I mean, once you read it, understand it, I guess make your little notes. Give it back. Why are you holding on to it? For what reason? Maybe it's a maybe it's a bargaining tool, or maybe you just need to hold on to it in case you have to go back and refresh your memory on something. I think that there needs to be some more accountability for those elected officials and for those that are in charge of these classified documents when they're handing it out or giving it out, because these elected officials have a certain security clearance. Yeah, you guys need to start tracking these documents the way you track you, the way they track you and I, FBI. Because the FBI's came out and said, well, of course, we're investigating, we're looking into it. We don't have we're just investigating it. There's, of course, hush, hush. They don't want to shame and embarrass anyone. Too late for that. Too late for that. You guys are you're leaving these classified documents in and everywhere and forgetting about them. Then, of course, you blame them on sloppy staffers. Did the staffers receive the documents too? No. That was you. You had the security clearance. Maybe the staffers have the security clearance too. Maybe the staffers are supposed to lock them up or put them to the side somewhere and remind you at some point in time. Like I said, there's so many questions I have about these classified documents and how they're handled. When you get the classified documents, do you lock them somewhere safe and secure? Or I mean, do you sign when you sign for them? Is that it? Is the Justice Department or whoever's in charge of classified material or FBI, once the CIA, once they hand it to you, they're clear and free of it. It's just out there. That appears to be what it is. Yeah. It makes you wonder, and also should bring your attention to national security. I hear the Democrats and Republicans on both sides always screaming national security, national security. Oh, this person is breaching national security, or when Trump was in national security, he's doing this and that. He's going to expose the nation. Any and everyone can come over here and do or have privy to all our information or whatever, what have you. And here you guys are doing the same thing. This is a standard practice. This is just what is done. Now, the question was raised when they found out Trump had all these boxes and boxes of documents at his Mar-a-Lago home. The question was raised, how can he just take them away and walk away with them? Apparently, it's a standard practice. I say he took them, but if he had possession of them before he had the security clearance to have them, and he took it to his home, isn't this just what Mike Pence and former Vice President Mike Pence and now President Biden did? What's the difference? Because you didn't like President Trump? You're splitting hairs? All the while, our nation's security is exposed now. I jokingly say, talk about, when I talked before about this, those old school Cold War spies looking around or lurking around, they just might get on the stick. I mean, hey, if you got these documents lying out any and everywhere, like I said then, that lowly maid or groundsman or woman or whatever, what have you, was to say one of those cats or spies, don't approach them and say, hey, I'll make you an offer you can't refuse, and they don't refuse it. There goes national security. You're trying to turn this into a little political firestorm. And I don't think any of you, and that's not the media. I don't think any of the elected officials care, because that's all I hear. The Democrat, the Republican. No, not for me. It's the nation's security. Come on now, let's cut the crap. Cut it. This is far bigger than a political affiliation or an individual that belongs to a certain political party that you don't like, that you despise. Yeah, they said Trump just took the documents, but if he had the security clearance, he didn't just take them, apparently, because President Biden and former Vice President Mike Pence, they had the documents in their home. Mar-a-Lago is President Trump's home. And then with Trump, they're saying that he was supposed to return the documents. But how is it that President Trump was supposed to return the documents, or some of the documents, but not the other two? I think you guys have been exposed for your flaws in your little system. that is leaving all of us out there. Yeah. You can split hairs all you want to, but the question still remains, what is the policy? What is the procedures for handling classified documents? And no one has came out and explained it. Have you guys noticed that? Because it's a standard practice. It is. It's standard practice. I call it. What do I care? It's standard practice. This is just what you do. And this has happened before, long before President Trump, or former President Trump, and former Vice President Mike Pence, and now President Biden. I can remember some tales some years ago where some other elected officials, and I can't remember whether it was the House or the Senate, they found some classified documents. At that point, I believe it was in their office that was just left out, that wasn't secure. So this appears to be a standard practice that is overlooked and just glanced over by the FBI or those on that security commission. I think you guys are going to have to change your policies and procedures because you've been exposed. Yeah, you have been exposed. Your little so-called flawless system is flawed. Can't believe you guys just give these elected officials these documents and then just let them do what the hell they want to with them. Oops, a stance. Oh, I forgot about that. What was in those documents, man? I shudder to think what was in those documents. You gotta ask yourself that. You just do. I'll keep you guys updated on that. Man, we certainly have a mess going on with classified documents and elected officials. And we have a mess going on with those, the newly elected congressman that keeps getting caught up in his lies. And now thievery. Yeah, you're a thief. You're a liar and a thief. You know the old saying, I know you remember, just like I remember, when old mom, dukes, or pops, or grandma, or whoever, or whatever, if you were a kid, when you were a kid, would catch you in a lie, and they would give you that spiel, or that phrase, if you lie, you steal. If you steal, you kill. Now, you already been caught in lies. You already, now we know you steal. Are we going to find out that you killed somebody too? That's usually the pattern, isn't it? That's what they say for you and I as regular old Joes and Josephines. It just is. It just is, man. Wow. We got a lot of problems in this country. Not just with our elected officials, but with a society as a whole. All of this gun violence and murdering and shooting, because folks can't handle their disagreements with folks. So they fly off into a rage, and kill people. That speaks volumes on us as a society. Us as individuals, more specifically. How we handle our disagreements with people. It just does. Man. Pray for everyone. Pray for everybody. We're going to have to. Because a lot of these fools, no. These folks have gone nuts. They just have. I'm going to go on and get out of here. It's time for me to go. I'm going to go on and skedaddle. Well, that's all for me today. And I want to thank you all for lending me your ears this morning. Continue to like, support, share, offer feedback. Anchor, which I'm sharing this with too, has a great feature where you can leave a voice response. And I would love to hear your voice. So offer feedback. You can also make monetary contributions. Continue to follow and listen on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Verbal, and WordPress, and now on YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. Keep you in the loop. And that goes for any other streaming services you use. Hit that like and subscribe button so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. I want to thank you all for listening. My name is Stephen Carnegie. This is Just a Thought. Amen.